Here we are, everybody. Welcome to the Wide Army Spotlight here this Soap Sunday on JLJ Media. I am James Lott Jr. of JLJ Media, of course, and we're here to talk to you about Y&R. We're talking about somebody who's from Y&R, who's on there. You like to bring you guys guests every week and talk to give us a little behind the scenes look at what's going on. And this person, you guys know him. You see the pretty eyes. You know what's going on already. He is on here. He plays a legacy character, as we call them in soaps. He plays Dr. Nate Hastings. He is the cousin of Devon and Lily and the son of Olivia, Dr. Olivia Hastings. Which I say Dr. Olivia Hastings. He also is Jabari Johnson on Greenleaf on OWN. We'll talk about that also. I'm very happy to have him on the show, Sean Dominic. Hi, Sean.
Hey, thank you very much for having me.
My pleasure. Welcome to the show. I like to ask everybody first, as we, this has been a strange time period, a strange year. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Concerning everything that's been going on, I've been doing pretty good. Holding in.
Yeah, I know that it's been just ups and downs, especially out here in LA and other places. It's been ups and downs in terms of career. Luckily, you have a job. But even with that, because last year it was shut down for a while, we all had to be at home. So, did you do anything interesting while you were shut down last year?
Well, the good thing was I had my brother and his fiance had just moved out, so we were like when everything shut down, we were just like hiking every day, almost like 4 or 5 days a week, just biking and just getting out, exploring, because they haven't seen much of LA, until they got here like a month or two before COVID hit. So we just explored a lot,
Yeah, and LA always has great weather, so that's always, that's a plus usually. Thank you,
man.
Hello, everybody in chat room who's coming in. Naomi, Rodeli, Kenneth. Yes, if you have any questions, put them in the chat, of course. He is here. Before we continue talking, I want to let you guys know this is the Soap Sunday here on JLJ Media. So that means right after this, that you and I have the Bold and Beautiful mini spotlight. Me and Amanda Russ are talking about all things going on over across the hall from him at his job. At Bold and Beautiful, we have a good time doing that. At 4 p.m. it's the General Hospital mini spotlight. We have a lot to talk about that show. Me, Ryan, and Frank Moran. We talk about General Hospital. Blink all of a sudden. I'm trying to have my coffee. I'm trying to wake up my Crimson Lights, folks. And that's at 4 p.m. And we also have Forever and a Day after show coming out later today, and then on our sister channel, Dish and Days, they do Days of Our Lives after show on there. And they have Mike Manning coming on, who was just killed on the show. So they have so he's alive and showing up on their show. That's at 3 p.m. Going over there doing that. So make sure I say all of that first. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to him. We'll tell you where his stuff is at also. Okay, first thing I mentioned to you, Sean. So you played Jabari Johnson on Greenleaf. It's on
Yes, sir.
So folks, you didn't know that he has that gig too. Did you ever watch Girlfriends?
Yes, I did.
You know Jabari was the character of Maya's son. That name was not anywhere else. It's like, so when he said Jabari, I'm like, when I first saw Greenleaf, Jabari, that was the name. That's the name of Maya's son.
I gotta look that up. I don't even remember that.
I'll tell you, there's a video. There's a video. Everyone, there's a video called Jabari or Whatever. It's on YouTube. Mm-hmm. It's like 3 minutes long. The character of Tony could never say his name. So someone had a lot of time in their hands, Sean, and put together every other name. She called him Joanna Man and Juju. So you should watch. It's just 3 minutes long. You'll laugh the whole way through. So folks, yes, go ahead and watch that. So the name Jabari is something that stuck out. When I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, Girlfriends had Jabari also.
Okay. I'll check it out.
It's just fun. The different names she comes up. The whole 8 seasons, she has a different name for him. She gets his name right one time.
There was a guy named there was a musician. There's a musician named Jabari Johnson who was on Instagram getting hit up a lot because of my character Jabari Johnson on Greenleaf. Yeah.
Did you talk to him?
He started following me. I don't know if he still follows me, but he was following me while I was on Greenleaf at least.
That's so funny. So you're part of the OWN network. Let's talk about that first. So we'll get to Y&R, folks. Don't worry, we'll get there. But I'm just really curious. I mean, so what has that experience been like working on Greenleaf?
Man, it was amazing, man. It was kind of like my first big break, I had got with this small agent in North Carolina, Maryland's agency, and it was my fourth audition with them, Greenleaf, and I remember taping my audition late because it was I had acting class, and then I went home, taped my audition late, and I forgot I had this a singing portion on it too. So like I literally woke up out of sleep, sang like 30 seconds, and then sent it off the next morning, I think. And they was like, "We want to see you." I remember I was going back to acting class the next day, and I got a message from my agent, and it was like, "Hey, they liked your audition. They want to see you." And I was like, "When do they want to see me?" They was like, "Tomorrow." I was like, "I'm in New York." I was like, "They're in Atlanta." Like, how are we gonna make that happen?
They're
He's like,
like,
"Should I
yeah.
should I book a flight?" And they was like, "Yeah, you should book a flight." So I went down, had a second audition. The executive producer slash director like me, and he was like, "Stay around. We want to do a chemistry read the next week." And the next week was the day of the chemistry read was voting day. It's when Trump got in office. So,
Yes.
but it was just amazing, man. Everyone was welcoming. You know, the hair and makeup was always live.
Yeah. I'm sure. Hello, black folks. Okay, hello. I was just taking my hair before I came on. I was like, you gotta have it high and tight, have it together. That's right,
Yeah,
kids. Yeah,
it was always live. It was always music. It was always good energy, man. Just the set life. Everyone from the catered food to being on set. It was just everything was just welcome. Everyone was nice, man. It was a good time, man.
what kind of? I was gonna lean. I have to lean closer into the camera. What kind of food did they have? You remember
uh,
down there? Was it just kicking? Was it just like all kinds of southern just goodness, or what was it?
it was southern goodness, but it was mixed with like salads and good healthy food and stuff, of course. But you know, it's definitely southern goodness in there. You know, sometimes ribs, sometimes barbecue. You know.
Oh, fruit salad. I'm like, I want some stuff. I'm gonna be in Atlanta. I want some goodness down there. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
like
I got spoiled, man. I got spoiled.
sure. I'm sure. The pacing very different than subs, isn't it?
Yeah, very different, man. Very different. Um, you know, just the timing and how many takes you have. You know, I had, you know, you have time. You know, and I was kind of I was a recurring role, so I wasn't a lead, but you know,
Yeah, yeah.
just constant takes. You know, these short takes, and you rehearse and you go over stuff, and you know, it was just it was interesting. And then coming to the soaps, it was like, all right, you shooting every week. You better learn those lines.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes, it's very different pacing. But that's very cool. I'm glad you were able to do that. And it's kind of fun. And they're saying the people like Greenleaf. Yes, it's a great show. I mean,
It's a great show.
it's a great show. It's done very well. Is there okay? So for this is one of your biggest. You've done other things too, of course, with Fred, but this is one of your bigger jobs. What's it like being on a set that's mostly black? What is that? What is that like?
Oh man, there's there's like a sense of like a subtle understanding. You know what I mean? Like a subtle comfort, southern comfort.
I like that. So they cover yes, well, yes, makes sense.
um, you know, especially if you know, not just you know, just all black, but like a lot of shared culture.
Yeah.
So you get certain things when you say certain things. You know, you quote something from like Coming to America or something. Everybody know what you're talking about.
Yes, I get it. I totally get
You
it.
know what I mean?
Yes,
You know what I mean? It was fun. It was fun. It was fun.
now, but am I correct? You're an army brat, right? Air
Yes, my
Force?
mother's Air Force. My mother was
Air
Air
Force.
Force. Yeah.
So then I mean, because that means you've been around the world possibly, or just sort of like, what was that like growing up?
Oh man, it was first it was seemed normal to me because
Yeah.
I started at such a young age. I was born overseas in Spain, Madrid, Spain, and then we came to the States and traveled through a couple of states, man, and it was exciting to me because I always got to meet new friends and have new best friends. As you get older, it started to get a little sadder. You know, like, oh man, I'm leaving my friend. What's going
Yeah,
on?
right, right,
You
right.
know. But then my mother locked it down when I went to high school and made sure did her best to keep me at that same high school. You know. But it was great, man. Had ups and downs, of course, but mostly ups for me. Um, I always tried new things. I could. The downside was I couldn't stick to something, so I
Got it.
couldn't become great at anything.
It's-
But I was proficient at a lot of stuff. Oh, play baseball, basketball, football,
right,
wrestling. What
right,
are we
right,
gonna do?
right.
Try? you
That's
know,
so funny. You're like, I can do everything. I can try everything, but I just can't,
do it,
stick with it.
do it. Yeah,
But it must be in a sense a good thing because first of all, it means you travel well. That's number one. I'm sure you know how to
hmm
travel at this point.
hmm
And two, for acting. Because actors are kind of nomadic in some ways, right? You have to kind of,
yeah,
like you said, you're on a plane tomorrow to go for an audition. So did that
yeah.
help a little bit with that kind of lifestyle?
I think so. I think because it gave me peeks to certain states and certain um, cultures and in different states, like being in Florida or being in Maryland or being in South Dakota, being in Delaware, these subtle differences in people and how they act and how they speak, Yeah, I think it gave me a lot, honestly.
Do you do you think have you found there's a lot of sameness or a lot of difference of people living all over the place? You find people are more the same.
More the
Uh,
same.
yeah,
More the same.
yeah,
More the same. Just speaking different languages, that's all.
yeah.
More the same. Yeah.
That's always say we're all pretty much the same, 4 or 5 things in life. Just that we
Yeah.
may look different and sound different as we say them.
Yeah. We all want the same things, whether we comprehend it or not, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Uh, Kenneth Clark says, "Say hi to Naya. She's a beautiful pit bull. Am I saying that correctly?"
Yes, 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 yes. She's still in New York, but yeah, she's doing good. I'll definitely tell her hi.
She's still in New York, folks. Kenneth, she's still say hi to Kenneth Clark, please. He's a big fan of yours.
Hey, Kenneth Clark, how you doing?
There you go. He's like, but he's only brought up the thing. That's so funny. Night. We love dogs. Dogs are, I always say that we're not dog owners. Dogs always own us. That's what I always
Man, yes,
say. I
yes.
mean, we love our animals. Our animals, they really are a part of us, right? Our lives, are so
It,
tied to them.
it's fascinating, man. I'm currently watching my mother's dog. He's a cockapoo. He's
Okay.
not here now, but it's just they're fascinating. Like they reveal a lot about you. And I would say I've never had a kid, but I would say kids do that
Yeah.
on another level.
Right.
But
Right.
dogs reveal a lot about who you are if you pay attention. I think. I think.
What are some things that have been revealed about you? You think with your dog?
So I'll go with Naya. I'm naturally. It's probably because New York did it to me. I stayed in New York for a long time. I'm naturally wary of strangers. Like my first thing is, what do you want? You know what I mean? Because I think that's a New York mentality.
It is.
Like
No, it
why?
is. Oh, yeah. It
So
is.
like
Yeah.
I have to check myself when I leave state. Like I'll tell you a story. I hope
Please.
this ain't a
Please.
bad story, I think. So I went to I went to Barbados years ago, right? And I'm staying in my friend's place in Barbados in I think it's Christchurch area. And I'm walking out to the beach and this Barbadian, this guy local comes up to me, asks me if I wanted drugs. I'm like, no, I don't want no drugs, man. I'm good. but I do it more like a New York way. Like, no, I'm good. Like it almost throwing him off, blowing him off. I'm like, but I didn't technically mean it that way. But I'm like, in New York, when you walk 10 paces in the city, someone's asking you for something, or someone's trying to,
Yes.
sell you something or something. So I saw him again, and I did the same thing. He asked me if I wanted some drugs, whatever. Then I saw him the next day later the night. He's like, hey, man, hey, man. I don't mean to offend you. I just trying to make sure your stay here is great. And I just wanted to see if you wanted some of this, some of that. I'm not trying to, bug you or anything. And I was like, oh, my bad, bro. Like, I'm sorry, I come from New York, and this happens. This happens all the time. But he would just like tell all your friends, man, come and visit Barbados. We love the tourists. We love having them here. And I guess he just wants people to have a good time.
Yes, no, right? I've been to
Yeah.
Barbados too. I know. I do know. Yes, I do know. And but I know what you mean. It's kind of like just because when you're in New York, you have to have your game face on. I love New York, my Magic City. But I mean, like your game face on, and the streets are the streets. No matter where you are in New York, you just have to be on. And a lot of times you got to deflect. And kind of just keep moving. And in New York, nobody cares. They get it. They go about their business. You just kind of.
And they can tell. They can tell who's not from there. They'll see it in your eyes.
Oh yeah. Oh easily.
They'll see it in your eyes. You give them too much attention. You smile too much. I'm like, oh, we got him. He's smiling. Let's do it.
That's so true.
I got this CD, man.
Yeah, folks don't even understand in New York how crazy it is on the streets. Where I on Fifth Avenue, folks, there's this famous thing, and also Canal Street too. But on Fifth Avenue, there'll be folks out there with all the fake Louis and stuff out there on a sheet. You're like, oh, they're nice on the sheet. All of a sudden, comes somebody, they grab the sheet and go to another. Like, it's just like, it's so crazy. And people be standing there going, where are they going? What's going on?
They got lookouts. They got everything going.
They do. I love New York. Candace Mack, who is one of my co-producers here on the channel, says hello. Can you say hi to Candace?
Hey, Candace.
And say hi to and say hello to Sherry Calvert.
Sherry Calvert. Hey, Sherry.
There you go, folks. So get a little shout outs. Everybody wants their shout outs. We have some questions coming in, so I will ask those when I get to the Y&R segment, which is next. She says, hey. Acting. When did you catch the bug? You can say you're a kid moving around different states, play some sports, other stuff. But when did acting enter your life?
That's always a complicated question to answer because I've always done some form of entertainment growing up, whether it was playing instruments or little plays here and there. But I never did any major roles. But I was always like these little characters in plays. Played sports. Was in gospel choir, the choir. And I'm sorry, somebody just hit me up saying somebody just hit me up saying they got in a car accident. My apologies.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, we'll just send prayers to whoever got to that.
Yes.
Sorry for that.
Yes. And so I did all these things, and then I got into modeling, and I modeled for quite a bit. But I always wanted to act, but I never pursued it, until I started. I bartended at a comedy club, and I saw this hustle that these comedians had. That especially a lot of comedians who weren't known yet, they would come in every night, and they would get to know us, the people who worked there, the managers, the booker, and hopefully there's a check spot. There's a spot called the check spot where a lot of times they put a newer comic on while people are paying their checks.
Okay. Like how funny. How funny. Yeah.
For 5 minutes, and you go up there, and hopefully you can make them laugh while people aren't really paying attention. And you would see these guys just hustle, man, night after night. And there's a bunch of clubs in New York City, so they would go to all the clubs or all the more important ones. And I would see their rise. I'm like, okay, all right, I don't want to bartend forever. All right.
Right.
So I just and then I lost that job.
Oh,
And then that's when the wheels started turning. And I gave 100% to acting. And that was 6 years ago.
wow.
A little over 6 years ago.
Pretty successful, I say. I'm like, I mean, own network at CBS, you're doing pretty good. I think you're doing
Man,
pretty good.
I never met Oprah though, man. Never met Oprah.
Dang it.
Never met Oprah.
You're in the orbit. You're in the orbit though. Maybe it'll,
Maybe she'll see.
You're closer than I am. You're closer than I am. So maybe almost there. You're good there.
Yeah.
But no, but that's great though. I mean, you say something that I have a lot of friends who are comedians or musicians or poets where they're out there. Well, back when you could.
Yeah.
They're out there. I had a friend who said that he would go to about 6-7 clubs at night every night and try to get 3 minutes here, 5 minutes there, work out a joke here. It's that hustle is it's amazing. But it's like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do.
Yeah. And they were okay with the I'll tell you this. It's from my perspective, the most successful ones gave it 100%. They weren't like they weren't splitting their time from a 9 to 5 and comedy. They were, if they had a job, it was part-time and they worked as little as much, but they did comedy as much as they could, even though they barely got paid. Those were the most successful ones I saw from my perspective.
Yeah, look at that. And now time for a Y&R, folks. This is why we're here. Also, folks, the questions are coming in. This one question makes me laugh, but I'm going to ask you this because I'm actually interested if this happens. Since you play a doctor, has a fan ever come up to you and asked you for medical advice?
No.
Not yet, folks.
No. I mean, no, not yet, because I was only on 1 year and then COVID hit and took the second year.
Yes.
So I haven't really been able to get out to see a bunch of people.
Well, that's true. I forgot about that. Well, okay. So that's the thing. So you're in a storyline that, to me, as a person of color, I like that it's not a black in quotes storyline. It is just it's a soap storyline that happens to have black leads in it. It's one thing I'm very happy with Y&R what they're doing. It's just that it just happens to be, it's very soapy, as you know, very soapy. Starting with the Devon and Elena, and that whole thing is very soapy. But I wanted to ask you, because of COVID, you just brought up COVID, so it's been very creative in the process of these scenes.
Oh yeah.
So how's that been for you guys, and how's that been?
It's been a rather easy, great transition. Like, I've been watching the episodes, I'm like, wow, like they made it look so seamlessly to me. Kudos to our editors, kudos to our camera guys, kudos to everybody, man. Like, I don't know how they do it. Honestly,
they're doing it. Yeah,
they're doing it, and they're keeping us safe.
Safe.
Yeah.
I would talk about there. This we try to keep everything safe for everybody. So they're doing everything they can. So we have a show on every day. That's kind of the point. There's a hardworking crew and directors and writers, everybody, and the actors are trying to make everybody so we can have a show 5 days a week. Because for a while there was no shows. It was very strange for us. There was no shows. I mean, there was no new shows. We're trying to keep you guys safe. That's a big thing. So did you know? So when you came on, did anybody give you like here's a quick backstory on the character and where he came from or not? Or did you have to learn as you went along? I'm always curious about that process because I know you get in, you get to work, but I just wonder if anybody kind of puts you
in. The head writer gave me the basics for Dr. Nate Hastings, but then I did more research and I asked around about these other subtle things that I wasn't told about. But yeah, like and I still had to do my own research on some stuff, like
like what? Like what?
Like a lot of people didn't know about his uh ex fiance
Oh,
Olivia.
yes,
No,
yes.
no.
That's your mom.
What's her name?
I've,
Oh,
I've got her
I'm
name.
getting
I've
wrong.
got her name too right now. I've got her name. Anybody remember his
Oh, why did I say
fiance?
Olivia? Ex
That's your mom.
fiance.
That's your mom. But that's
Uh,
anybody in the chat room. These you can tell us. Anybody in the chat room, tell me what he's
I
like. I've got to bring up the name too. But
know
but
that
you had
because
to, because Nate had a life before you came out. He had a
yeah,
life.
yeah, on the East Coast. Wow, why can I say Catherine? Catherine, I think.
They'll tell us in the
Ah,
chat room for sure. They'll tell us in the chat room for sure. They'll tell
I'm
me.
pretty sure it's Catherine.
Uh,
But
but yeah,
yeah, stuff like that. Um, everyone was confused about who's Nate real dad. Who's Nate? Not everyone, but like some of the cast were confused about who's Nate real daddy was.
yes, that was a big storyline back in the day. I mean, this is like we're talking like 20 some years ago. It was a big storyline.
Okay.
That it's just kind of funny that soaps are the only place that can do this. That 20 something years
Yeah.
later, bring on the grown son of two characters that were big or three characters that were big in a storyline. That's why I love that. You can continue the storyline. It made you a doctor. You're a doctor.
Yeah.
Steps.
Crazy successful doctor, second in his class.
How do you remember the terminology? How is that on your tongue?
Man, it's still tough, man. Honestly, because some of the words you just don't roll off the tongue properly. We're like, what?
But you have to make it sound. You got to make it sound natural because you're a doctor.
Yeah. So just working it as much as you can. Luckily we get our lines in a decent amount of time in advance. So just working on it and studying like shows like Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, funny. Put an ER, Grey's Anatomy, all those shows. All that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Watching those.
That's hilarious. Now they said yes, Sean. You're right. It was Catherine. Was your
yes.
I can remember either. I can remember. So he had to do his research. But no, because I know people who do play lawyers and doctors. Sometimes you have to remember these words. You're like,
yeah.
So what is your memorization regimen? How do you remember your lives?
I do, which probably most people do now, I would assume. I do, instead of learning my lines from just paper, I'll put them on my voice memo on my phone, and I'll do the other parts, and I'll even do their voices.
Oh my God, it's so funny. We should release those one day. Yeah. Some like bloopers. You're like, hi, now I'm Atlanta. Now I'm Amanda. Amanda. Yeah, right, exactly.
I literally try to give the energy that they give me, and I try to put that on my voice memo, and so I now leave spaces for my lines. There's apps that people use now that do all that for you, but I don't know, for some reason I still like doing it myself.
Yeah.
So that's how I learn my lines. It's because it's more of a hearing and listening and listening for me rather than just let me read lines.
Yeah. Some folks are visual, and some folks are
Yeah.
auditory. It's that thing. Everybody get to find what your thing is. You're in the middle of a storyline, or in the middle of this whole. It was like just thrown in. We're going full bear. You have an affair. The character has an affair with a major couple on the show, of course. Vonnie and Elena is a major couple.
Tell me about it.
Do you follow what goes on online? Do you like reading the comments, and you gotta go near mind? What do you do with that?
I used to. I'd be like, why is Nate getting so much hate? I didn't know. I honestly did not know that they were that beloved. I did not know. I was like, all right, man. Okay. All right. Don't take it out on the real Sean. Don't take it out on real me.
Right.
All right. I'm a lover. Not a fighter.
Okay, MJ. No, I love that. No, that's so real though. So people get they go really into it. And this couple is very beloved. I mean, it's like I didn't
especially
realize
on Twitter.
Yeah,
especially on Twitter.
Yeah, especially on Twitter. Yes.
Oh gosh,
they are very beloved. Yes.
They calmed. Well, from my perspective, it seemed like they calmed down, but they probably haven't.
Whatever folks are saying, I love your scenes with Brittany and Michelle. But you're opposite. I mean, you have 3 powerhouse people, and including yourself, it's 4. But you guys, all 4 of you are wonderful. But I mean, just coming from you have 3 powerhouse actors who put everything into their scenes. What is that like working with them, with all 3 of them? With
oh man, they've all made it comfortable, man. I have no issues with. I love working with all of them. They made everything comfortable, everything to the point we're friends. We're all friends now.
Yeah.
Like there's no like I don't have the I guess when somebody's first coming on a show and these people been on the show for a long time, you got this like, oh my gosh, like how I'm gonna do this, but no, they've been welcoming from day one. So it's been a pleasure, honestly. It's been a pleasure working with them.
Yeah, they're all committed to. I know they're committed to their scenes like you are. You guys are all committed. There was a scene that me and my co-host on the show had to laugh a little bit. We'll share it with you. I'm gonna share it with Sean when I see him. The scene where you finally have Elena. You guys, because of COVID and the way things are filmed, we didn't see it. But you're like in the window, wistfully looking outside in the drapes, the outside, shirt off, of course, and everything. Elena's in bed, dreaming of Devon. And something, and she wakes up and goes, "Where am I? What's going on?" And we couldn't stop laughing. We thought, "We got the top man right here. Hopefully, it was some good sex, or whatever." You're your ex-man. Like, how are you so lucky? We couldn't stop laughing. We were laughing so hard. We're like,
I laughed too.
Only on a soap opera.
I laughed too. I'm like, this girl tripping.
Exactly. Like, hello.
This girl tripping in her dream. Let me wake her up.
We had a good laugh. We had a good laugh with that. I mean, why do you think you and Elena? Why do you think Nate and Elena actually kind of work? Why do you think they kind of work?
Man, there's like a soul connection. I think whether it will work or not,
right,
is another story. But there's a soul connection. They connect on so many levels that I see. They're both passionate doctors.
Mm-hmm.
They both care about their patients. They care for each other. They have this love for each other that I don't even think they both comprehend yet, because there's been so,
Devon's involved. I mean,
Devon is Nate's cousin.
Right. There's that too. Oh my God. The scenes between you and Brighton were so good too. Because it was like 2 men. It was the way it should be. 2 men. Like, you broke the bro code, basically. That's his face was like, you broke the bro code. How could you do this? It's like, she's one thing. She's not related to me. That's my girlfriend. So, so that must be interesting for you to play as an actor, as a man. Also, as a man, thinking in my own situation, this happened to me in real life. I say, but you guys are cousins.
Yeah. It's that's why Nate is so conflicted with. Can't be mad at anybody. Can't be.
Can't.
I'm only mad at myself. Like with everything that's went down. I'm mad at Devon for my hand.
Oh, I know. That was crazy too.
But I can't be too mad.
No.
You know what I mean? Because it all started with me and Elena. So, and then like her being, conflicted with her thoughts and feelings. Can't be too mad at her either. So Nate's in this weird predicament.
Very, very interesting predicament, because I feel like you played it that way too. I feel like it was like you're kind of like, yeah, you're right. Like when it came to Devon, you were like, I can't really go back and forth with you because you're right. I mean, I did something I shouldn't have did. I shouldn't have did that. But it was kind of, but you know what I mean? It's like you played it that way. I think the writers did a great job with that too. It's kind of like, well, you're in a position that hasn't been done before in a long time, where usually there's a villain that comes in and breaks up the couple. That wasn't really it. That wasn't how it happened.
Yeah.
So it's like, and you're related, you're cousins, and like it's kind of like this was not meant to happen.
Everyone likes each other. It was just a dumb mistake, but the mistake happened. It shouldn't. It should. Let me word this properly.
Yeah.
If you read into everything and you watch everything in the beginning, you almost can't fault Elena too much.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying she's right.
No, right. There's no excuse. There's no excuse for cheating. There's no excuse. You're not saying
I'm not
that.
saying she's right.
Yeah, no excuse for it. But you see where she went that direction.
I understand. I understand.
The human part of it. You understand.
Yes. Nate. I should have held off. I should have.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Well, there's you. There's your character and Amanda. Here's this beautiful woman. You guys were just starting out, so it was a little different than those two. They were together. You guys were just kind of starting out. Maybe we'll wish you guys could have had the chance. Maybe we'll just. I wish you guys could have fully.
Yeah, man. That clinic, opening up that clinic messed everything up.
It did. It's like you're trying to do something good for the world, and it messed all personal relationships up. Just blew everything out the water. That's it.
It's the Dagnabbit Clinic.
It's the clinic, everybody. It's the clinic, folks. It's the clinic.
Nate and Elena are working together 14 hours a day.
See, that's what'll do it. That's what did it, right? That clinic. That's what it goes back to. The clinic. That's what it goes back to.
Yep.
There are some folks out there, and I don't guess we're chatting with me in here at all, but there are some folks out there who wanted you and Abby together.
I love working with
Mr. Ordman.
Yeah, man. You know what? I kind of felt like we didn't get a chance.
Exactly. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. You guys were cute together.
Yeah, I kind of felt like we didn't get a chance. And who knows?
Right. Who knows? I mean, anything could happen. But I know a lot of folks were saying that. They were saying they liked your kid. I gotta say chemistry, because you can't fake chemistry. Chemistry just happens. And we saw chemistry. We just, as fans, we're letting you know we saw chemistry. And like I said, didn't get a full shot. But we saw chemistry. But you guys know anything's possible. I mean,
she moved on quick too.
She sure did.
Come on.
She, other men went her direction. She went that direction. She's like, bye. The exit stage left.
She's like, you can't handle my family. Peace.
Exactly. I know. It's like it was so funny. But yeah, it was great. But again, these are all soapy storylines, and I feel like this is great for you to play melodrama, back and forth. The craziness. I think that's what everybody likes about this, is that it's brown faces just playing regular soap storylines.
Yeah.
Did you know anybody who watched soap growing up? It's a huge Black African American family, especially for Y&R. It's always been one for Y&R.
Yeah, Young and the Restless was one of my family's favorite soaps. Like, I remember going down to like Virginia, North Carolina for the summers, and one of my close cousins, I would go to his place a lot, and his father was a postal worker, and every day at lunch he would come home, sit down in front of his TV, put on Young and the Restless, and eat his lunch.
Wow.
And I watched it growing up with my grandmas, and my mother would have it on as well. My mom didn't watch a lot, but she would every so often watch. So I grew up seeing All My Children, Young and the Restless, General Hospital, As the World Turns. I don't know if I ever really watched Bold and Beautiful though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Neighbor across the way. Did you know the importance of Christophe St. John?
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, he was the man on the show. The man. He represented people of color to the fullest. Um, I wish I met him.
I know. It's like you just missed it. I wish you could have met him. I've met him. He's a very soulful. He was a very soulful, nice guy. But I wish you could
Yeah.
have acted opposite him and everything. I mean, we had
I hear nothing but great
dreams.
things.
The wishes could be dreams.
I would have. Oh man, I would have loved to have been in some scenes with him, man.
I know he was. Because
R.I.P.
Representation does matter, doesn't it? It does matter. Seeing like people like you in forms of things you like to do.
It matters. It matters more than I think we will ever fully understand. Um, you know what they say? Be careful who you surround yourself with. Type thing. You are who your friends are. There's a lot of underlying deep truth about that. There's a lot of underlying deep truth about that. And so when you put yourself around go-getters, especially if you want to be a go-getter, you can either you're gonna take that energy from them and grab what you can take. You know, all right, I see this, I see that works, I see this works, and become a go-getter, or you're gonna pull away because it's too much for you. You know. I was getting to a point. What was it? What was the first?
That's good though. I was saying that representation mattering. Remember, it's about representation.
Yes, representation. So Black Panther, great example. Black Panther, great example. Finally, a Black person of color superhero. And you saw all the pictures on Instagram with these little kids.
Yeah.
Barack Obama.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Oh, it's possible. What did they say with the mile? With I forget the numbers, but with the mile, there was a specific number that they said it will never get under, right? And then a dude beat that, got under this specific number, and then everybody else, all these other runners saw that, and then within I think weeks or months, people started breaking that mile time that people thought no one would ever get under. Yeah. So those runners who are professional runners didn't believe it in themselves until this one runner did it. You see what I mean? So it spreads everywhere in all forms and fashions of life. You know.
I agree. I totally agree with that completely. Someone wants to know in the chat room, are there any characters you like to play with on the show? You haven't done really anything with?
Yeah, man.
You're a doctor. You can talk to anybody, I guess, at this point. I mean,
you know what? I like to work with Peter.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't worked with Peter.
Wow, yeah, legend. Yes, Peter Bergman.
I haven't worked with the legend. I worked with Eric. Yeah, Eric always making me laugh, man. Always trying to jack me up.
I love Eric. I know Eric. Eric's a friend of mine. I love Eric.
Love Eric.
Oh, and Eric is good. He's a boxer. He works it out. He knows his stuff. He's something else.
He's a beast. He's a beast. Now, I remember when you said like in the beginning, like I was a little bit nervous working with Eric.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Yeah. But then he was cracking jokes. I was like, he's my type. He's my type. That's me.
When I've known Eric now 5 or 6 years. I've interviewed him 3 or 4 times over the years and everything. And,
okay.
And, in person. We're back in person where we could do things in person, of course. Remember the first time I had to go interview him, I was at AfterBuzz TV, and he's come. James, he's in the building. I got nervous because I know this is Eric Braden, folks. Like, Eric, he was so disarming. When I met him, we started cracking jokes. He shook my hand, looked me in the eye. We were talking. We had the best time to this day, still best time. But you're right. He's a legend.
He doesn't. He knows who he is. He doesn't want to imitate. He doesn't want to
You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Yes.
He doesn't want to intimidate you. I was about to say imitate.
He won't do
He
that.
doesn't want to imitate you.
He doesn't want to intimidate you. Yeah, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
He doesn't want to intimidate you.
He likes people.
But he cut like my mom. I brought my mom on set one day, and we were watching a scene. I didn't have to work that day. We were watching a scene take place. Eric came off set. He's like, "Is this your mother?" Went right up to her, started talking to her. Take a picture. My mom didn't have to ask because my mom would have never asked. But my mom didn't have to ask. He was like, "Let's take a picture." Yada yada. He just totally gave. Hey, I'm Eric. I'm a good guy. I'm a nice guy. Funny guy. Let's take a picture. You don't even have to ask. Amazing dude.
And all the moms, they like them some Victor Newman. My mom loves Victor Newman. They all love some Victor Newman. So I'm like,
my mom was like, where did they see this at work?
Because they'll all get it. They're like, oh my God, it's Victor Newman. Like, they know who he is. They know who he is.
Yeah.
Very nice guy. But Peter Bergman, folks, why not are you listening? Peter Bergman, do some scenes with Jack. You're a doctor. Why not? Do some scenes with Jack.
Yeah.
Or at a bar or something. You're hanging out at the bar. You guys just start talking or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I love that. I do. Sean, thanks for being on the show. You're great. We're so fun watching you on here. I wish you the best of success in all areas in life. You're welcome back on the show anytime. Thanks for sharing your time with us this Sunday morning.
Thank you very much for having me, man. Good times. Good times.
Good. Tell folks
where you can find me
on social media.
Social media, you can find me everywhere at Sean Dominic or at Sean Dominic. At Sean Dominic Official.
Yes.
At Sean Dominic Official. And I'm verified on Instagram and Twitter. So
it's him, folks. It's him. Don't follow any other people that are not verified. That's not him. Those are imitators. Those are imitators. That happens when you become, Right. Well, before we go, I do want to ask you one last thing. What has it been like being, because you're not really out and about like we used to be, but I'm sure you've been recognized. What is that like?
It's I've only got recognized a couple times, and I think I talked about one of the stories.
Yeah.
When I leave LA, is when I get recognized.
Okay. Right. Exactly. Right.
In New York, I got recognized at a coffee shop and grocery store in New York. Those are the two. In Greenleaf, I was getting recognized. Every Black community I went to.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. No, I'm sure.
It was like, ain't that Jabari?
That's how they look at you like, wait a minute, is that wait, huh? What?
I remember my character had just started coming on, and I was in New York, I was walking to a restaurant. And I was walking with someone I was dating at the time. And this construction guy, he was standing there, he was like, "What's up, Jabari?" I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yo, tell Charity I said, what up?"
So that's so funny. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So you never know the power of television. You never know.
I know, right?
The power of television. It's hilarious. So folks, go ahead and follow us on Wide Army Spotlight on Instagram. Follow us on Wide Army Spotlight on Facebook. We are JLJ Media all over the place, everywhere. This is going to be available audio and video. So if you want to hear the audio version, go to any streaming platform you want to go to. That means it's Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple, Google. Go there. Like, subscribe, comment there. Of course, my online network, JLJ Media, here on YouTube. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. Everyone in the chat room, thank you for joining us and the questions. And we give you some shout outs. Thanks for the likes. You can follow me. We're all James Lott Jr. is sold at James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms, including TikTok. Yes, I'm on there. See the latest things. I'm talking about eggs and things. Who knows? I'm talking about weird stuff on there. But follow me on there. See what I'm talking about. Everyone, please enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you next time.